Let's get into it. Soul Not for Sale podcast here with Scott. How do you say your last name here?
Hall. That's
Oh, it's
Hall
Hall
Jr.
Jr. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Cool, cool, cool. I'm the third in my name lineage.
Yeah.
I'm Colin the third. Man, so Scott, all right. This is funny because I had to message you like as soon as I saw somebody saying how great they felt with your
Yeah.
diet, with your regiment. I was like, okay, that's enough. I have to talk to this guy
Yeah.
and understand what's going on here. For people who don't know, how do I describe this? I say you eat raw meat. How would you describe it?
Well, I follow the nutritionist Agenus Wunderplanet, and a lot of people in the
Okay.
community, they eat raw meat, but they're just doing raw animal based and calling it primal. But the original diet is the primal diet, trademarked by Agenus, and it's raw animal based, but we also supplement with vegetable juice, celery juice. We have unheated honey, and
Okay.
a lot of different techniques to apply for detox. And the most important thing being we analyze our health through the iris. So if you see that first post before and after forced, that's
Yeah.
Agenus's iris. The first one is after he was on the diet for like 35 years. His eyes used to be like completely brown, and then he got forced in a hotel in another country, and his eyes turned gray and developed new brown spots after that. And there's a whole story on that post also.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that can you say that guy's full name? Because I've seen it.
Yeah. Agenus Wunderplanet.
Okay, yeah, because I've been like lurking in your comment section and videos for a while, so I've seen times where you've mentioned this person, and I was like, let me look into this guy, and I'm like reading a little bit, but yeah, I find this so interesting, and like I said to you before we connected like this, I was like, what we are taught is that if you do what you guys are doing, you die. Like that's how that works.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
eating raw meat and raw chicken as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Any animal that's healthy.
Yeah, yeah. So we're taught that that's it for you if you do that. But the thing is, I've been following you for a while, and I'm like, this guy is still good. He's still alive.
Yeah. There's dozens of us doing it for years.
That was the thing that really, you know how the algorithm works, right? So I'm watching your stuff a lot, I'm engaged with it, the algorithm starts showing me more, so I'm starting to see like multiple people doing this kind of thing, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm showing it to my wife's gagging, she's like, stop showing me this stuff all the time. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, look at this. Oh man. But so I guess let's just get into it. Like, how did this start for you? This whole thing. Like, how did you start doing stuff like this?
Well, it was 2018. I was really focused on my spiritual practices. My top priority was meditation, and everything was centered around that. And so the journey naturally led to being vegan because, the Hindu tradition, Buddhist tradition, they teach that meat lowers your vibration. So at the time, I went vegan to enhance my meditations. And that led to me doing lots of fasting. And I was really focused on developing my intuition. And when studying fasting on YouTube, I saw the snake diet, Cole Robinson eat raw meat in one of his videos, and like it blew my mind. And I was like, I immediately watched like videos about it for the rest of the day. And then I was like, this is what I need to do. I immediately knew. So then I tried raw meat the next day and switched from being vegan overnight. And I was still in school. I was in my senior year of high school, and people were just freaking out. Like I would have like a crowd of kids at my lunch table. I ate lunch by myself because I like to meditate and go outside in the sun. And they would freak out and record me. And like I got pulled out of class. They told me I couldn't eat raw meat. And basically I ended up being like the raw meat guy at school, and I had to do Q&As in class because everybody wanted to ask all the questions. So then I started doing tons of research, and um, that's how it started. That's the basics of how it started.
Wow. So you went from vegan, you're over there and being vegan, and then you jump not to meat, but to raw meat, the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I
Ah,
wasn't
man.
vegan for the animals or the ethics. It was strictly to elevate my consciousness. So there wasn't any like deeply embedded repulsion to it or anything. Like, yeah, it was gross the first few times I ate it, but after a few days, I just like stopped being a bitch and eat it. So then I started eating it more seriously, and then after a few weeks, it started to actually be good. And then like after a month, I was eating 3 pounds in one sitting. I can't do that anymore. I was like starving back then because of all the
Yeah.
fasting, but initially I was
Yes.
eating 3 pounds in one sitting.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, you know what? I was vegan for like 2.5 years, and it had nothing to do whatsoever with, all the propaganda that's spewed, animals or this or that. I just wanted to, very much like you, I was getting into the meditation practice. I would meditate, an hour when I'd wake up and an hour before I'd go to bed. And like, I was really getting deep into it. And it was the whole Hindu thing. I was looking into Buddhism and stuff. Grew up in a household that didn't have any religion. So I really started looking into those and looking into meditation. And plus, I wanted to straighten out my mind because I'd gone through a lot of stuff. And, I just kept hearing meditation was the thing. So I just started doing that. So yeah, very similar. But I didn't jump to raw meat, but I definitely jumped back to meat. That's for sure. Definitely. Oh, you mute. You're not coming through now. No, no, you're still silent. Something just happened. I don't know if you hit your
Can you hear me?
microphone. Yep, yep, there
Okay.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that light on your mic went
yeah,
red.
yeah. I also grew up in an atheist household. My mom's psychic, incredibly powerful spiritually, but my dad made her agree not to bring God or religion to the household. So like, I was also like raised with no religion.
Ah,
Yeah.
true, true. Yeah, my mom, like, she's definitely a believer. I don't she definitely wasn't atheist, but she was definitely someone who, like, I remember as a kid, because I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, Crown Heights, like a lot of Orthodox Jewish people, and then some black people. And I remember one time, because I'm watching all these Orthodox constantly going to shul and temple or whatever, and I'm like, what religion are we? And she told me, don't ask stupid questions. And I was like, okay. I was like, I guess
Why is
we
that a
don't have
stupid
anything
question?
going on. I don't know. She was like, don't ask stupid questions. I was like, all right, I guess religion's off limits for her. But now she's very much like, I've come to Christianity. I was baptized and everything through my father. Opposite of your dad. My dad actually really wanted God around, but he wasn't around, so he didn't have a say in what went on. And I came back to Christianity. She did as well. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a very interesting little path. So you go from vegan, you're eating meat, you're looking into it 3 pounds at a time, and this is in 2018. So what has
Oh,
it been since then?
yeah. Actually, I started in the beginning of 2019. I was vegan in 2018. The end of that.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then what was your question?
And then there's just what happened from there, because like I see you
Okay.
online now,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
like you're building this community. I almost want to say, just from the way you look, you're starting a cult here. There's going to be some kind.
Yeah, well, the goal is to create a new culture. So, because I'm not
Okay,
happy with
yeah.
society, so I want something
True,
new. Yeah.
true.
And so, when I was vegan, right before I became vegan, I got two in order to attend my senior year of high school,
Hmm.
and it made me really sick at first, but I kind of just ignored it and moved on. And then I did a tremendous amount of fasting. Like I abused my body. And when I found the diet, I initially felt really good. But after a few
Hmm.
months, I'm like, you know what? I'm getting all these raw nutrients. I can start smoking again. So I started smoking weed because I'm like, okay, I can handle it now. And at first,
True.
I didn't have a problem. But then I consumed a very, very strong detox recipe, which is very dangerous. So, like, if you're trying to detox and you detox more than you can handle, you'll actually damage your system because, like,
Yes.
let's say you have some mercury, some heavy metals stored in some tissue. Like for the most part, it's just doing its own thing. It's not touching anything. But if you dissolve that in high concentrations, you're gonna deteriorate yourself from the inside out. So
Mm.
one of the most potent detox recipes is so the four ways you detox is with bacteria, virus, parasite, and fungus. And so, in order to detox the metal in the brain, one of the most effective remedies is moldy berries. So,
What?
yes,
No.
you have moldy berries. but I did way too much. I had like a whole cup of moldy berry juice. And you're only supposed to do like one every day or like every
Okay.
few days. And if you get any symptoms, headaches or whatever, you're doing too much. And so I
Okay.
had a whole cup of it. And within the next week, I became so exhausted. I had no energy. I was absolutely f***ed. And then all I could do was smoke weed in order to enjoy myself. So then I went to this terrible smoking addiction. And then, so basically, I was really primed from all the and the fasting to just like, it hit me all that time. And then from there, I went through this phase for like 3 or 4 years where I was in terrible health. And it was just about me learning how to do the diet properly so I could finally heal. And then once I learned all the most important practices and I started implementing it, I finally started to make progress. But then there's a speed bump, more than a speed bump in the journey. I became homeless. So then I couldn't even do the diet because I was sleeping in the car. And I
True.
went through this one winter where it's negative 10 degrees. I had a thick layer of ice on the windshield every morning. My milk was freezing in my car, but I never cheated on the diet. But long story short, over the course of many years, the last 6 years, I've recovered my health. I would say I'm basically back where I used to be. It's been a long process, a lot of times where it was difficult to stick to it, not because I had cheated, but because like it's expensive, making food in the car. And it was just a process of learning to stop experimenting with other people's advice. I'd always listen to other people and try to figure out a better way to do it, but eventually just came down to I just need to listen to Agenus. What he says works. And when you do it, it produces results quick. And so when I started doing it right, that's when I started actually healing. And so my journey has been, recovering from bad health, not because of necessarily the raw meat, but because I was very irresponsible and I did a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors. And now I'm looking to teach how to do the diet properly so people can not make the same mistakes I did and provide a foundation for a new way to approach our lives that will give us more meaning than the typical path people are following, and then build that into communities where we can raise children. I don't want to raise kids on screens or going to
Oh
school.
man.
Like I want to live in nature and make all our own food and have like 20, 30 of my best friends and we raise all our kids in a tribe together.
Yeah, it's yeah, man, it's so hard. Like I got a 16-month old, and it's so hard to like stay away from the screens because even if you have a screen, they want to understand what you're looking at. So they're gravitating towards what you're doing. And then the TVs are huge, and then obviously it doesn't matter what's on, they just want to stare at it. And like it's so easy to just let them slip into that. I see so many parents. My wife's very much, I don't know what you'd call us. We want to homeschool. We want to stay away from all that type of stuff that you're talking about. So we try our hardest to just keep the baby away from that type of stuff. But it gets really hard, man. But it's doable. But it's definitely doable. Same with the food, right? It's like, you don't have to give your kids Snickers and ice cream and all sorts of wild stuff. We've been really lucky. I love fruit, and I guess the kids they just kind of imitate you. So now the baby loves fruit, like constantly. So that's good at least. And meat, because that's basically what I'm eating. Usually I'm just eating fruit and meat a lot of the times. So,
Well,
but
one thing that Agenus really likes to mention is that the Maasai tribe, it was illegal for the kids to be fed fruit until they turned 16 because it
really,
produces emotional reaction to destabilizes them, and it inhibits their development because the fruit is demineralizing and the sugar isn't what they need. So like
I was gonna say it's a sugar probably.
yeah, yeah. So like he'll just put them on put raw liver in the smoothie. They eat the raw meat that they just like your kids don't really know like what's gross or not. Like a lot of times you give
Yeah.
them raw meat, they actually like it.
Yep. That's well, I've never done anything raw, but you're 100% right. They do not know what's bad, what foods don't go together. They have no clue, and they'll pretty much go along with whatever. I remember at one point my wife was like pureeing chicken and like sweet potato, and like to any person you'd be like, "Oh, that's disgusting." But the baby was just like, "Okay, I guess this is what we do." They really They go along with what you put in front of them, which is
There's
a
a
good and
story
bad
with
thing.
one of his clients. He was calling Audrey. He's like, my kid keeps freaking out. I don't know. He's like, are you feeding him any fruit? He's like, yeah, feeding him pineapple every day. I'm like, he's like, don't feed him pineapple for like 5 days. And then like all of a sudden it was like there was never a problem. The kid became so calm. So if you ever notice that, try going a week without any sugar, and you'll probably see that they completely change.
Huh. I will consider that,
Yeah.
because that is a thing that slowly starts to happen 16 months as they like approach 2 years. They always call it the terrible twos, but it's like there's no association with being two and being terrible. Maybe it's something that's in the diet of so many kids. I'll have to look into that a little
The
bit.
kids are raised terribly. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it's
that, yeah.
like my buddy, he's lucky enough that he found his daughter is about 8 or 9. He found a school that is in nature. So it's not like a sit down and do math school. It's like a explore and become resourceful and start understanding nature and everything like that. He found that. He's very
That'd be a
lucky to
lot better.
find that. A lot better. A lot.
For
You
like
can
what
see
age
his
is-
well, I believe what he's in, it's like 6 to, I think it's 10, I'm pretty sure. So they're just like running around exploring, and you can see it in his daughter. Like there's something called the Spartan race that happens all over North America, and she's so able-bodied and has such a just such a go-get-it attitude that she does these crazy 10-kilometer obstacle course races and just dominates like at just such a young age. So there's something to it. Yeah, but I'm definitely with you on the whole homesteading is what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
One of the
definitely
most
with you
important
there.
things for me is like, if you're trying to raise the kids in society, that's a whole different level of challenge. But for me, I don't intend to have kids until I have a farm. That's a big thing. And also like,
Yeah.
even if the farm is kind of in society, like eventually I want to be in another country, like hours away from the nearest airport. But like, one of the biggest issues I have with society is the idea that you have to have a TV in the living room and all the furniture surrounds the TV. It's
Yeah,
like we
yeah,
should be
yeah,
talking
yeah.
to each other, not focused on the TV.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things.
That is a very true thing. Like we have, it's not even just in the living room, it's also in your room. And then, I know me growing up, it was in each, like my room, my brother's room, everybody had a TV in their room as well as the family room. And then some people even had it to the point where they had one in the garage. And it's just like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean there. Trying to, we're trying to not base things around the TV. But when you come into a place, like we go from Airbnb, we travel a lot, so we'll jump into Airbnbs and stuff. So it's already set up like that, but you just try not to turn it on. That's the main thing, because you do still have that agency to just not turn it on. But it would be good to be able to have your own place, because again, I guess everything except for like eating raw meat, because I've never done that before. But we're very much on the same page, because yeah, I really want to farm. Like that's what I look at. I look at farmlands. Anytime I grew up near a city, and now I always try to be 2 hours away from any major city, and I try to be by the water if I can. It's hard if you want to farm and be by the water. Like it's hard, but yeah, that's my main goal as well. Get a ranch. Like I want a ranch with like 500 acres, like something like that. Like just away, just stay away. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's hard to get a hold of. That's the problem.
Do you have a list of questions?
Oh, well, I mean, I would just go on with the raw meat. Like, what's going on with that? What's going on? Not even just the raw meat, okay? Because I even saw it on your stories today. You're talking about high meat. And I think this was one of the first videos I saw with you. I think this was you, and there's other people, so I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but you had it in your car, and you said it had been there for a little while, and then you were taking it out, and you're eating it, but it seems like you only eat a little bit of it. Although
You only need one spoonful of it to get the effect.
So now when you call it high, can you explain what high is for everybody?
High means it's high in bacteria, and it makes you high when you eat it.
Really?
Yeah, it makes you a little high. If you're very deficient, then you actually get high. But if like you're pretty solid emotionally, mentally, you usually just get a little bit of a buzz.
Okay.
Yeah.
What,
And
what's
so,
this? What's this high feel like?
well, it's just like I would say it's like microdosing Molly. It just makes you,
Okay.
yeah, like it just makes you like really want to like love people, and
Yes.
it
Yeah.
just makes me less judgmental and want to be nicer. And it's like I want to call my mom and tell her I love her after I eat it because I'm just like happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I've
And
definitely
so
had that.
basically how it works is you take the meat, you cut it into small pieces, it has to be fresh, not frozen, and you fill a jar halfway up. And what I found is that if you cut it on a cutting board that is made of soft wood, the
Hmm.
soft wood absorbs all your previous ingredients and it soaks into it, and that will get into the meat and ruin it. So the cutting board has to be like fresh, clean, not something that
Hmm.
you've used with other ingredients previously, just like your meat cutting board, a hardwood
Okay.
meat cutting board, not one that you had onions on it before and stuff.
Hmm.
And then you cut into small pieces, has to be fresh, not frozen. If it's frozen, you're not going to get the same effects, and it might even make you sick, because it just high meat from frozen meat triggers strong detox, and the detox sickness is the detox. So you fill the jar halfway up because you need air. You store it somewhere dark because if it's not dark, it will dry. And then you
Hmm.
open it outside every day because you need fresh air. Then after about 3 weeks, it'll start to turn into like vinegar, liquor type smell, taste. Like if you don't open it for like 4 days and you like open it near your nose, you'll burn your nose.
Okay.
And so that's how strong it gets. And then you just need one spoonful. And how it works is it replicates the digestion of your colon. The colon is where the brain gets fed. And
Hmm.
so when you ferment it in the jar for long periods, it ferments like it does in the colon. Fermenting in your digestive tract means it digests. The bacteria is what
Yes.
digests the food for you.
Hmm.
So then you have just a little bit. It's already broken down by the bacteria. Yogurt, it's a probiotic. The bacteria already digested it. Kefir, clabbered milk, it's already broken down by the bacteria. It's easier to absorb. You eat the high
Yeah.
meat, goes straight to the brain. The thing is, you can't eat a lot of it. If I eat more than one spoonful, if I have 2 or 3 tablespoons, I'll be burping all day. It just
Okay.
like I don't know what it is, triggers detox or something, but I'll just have one spoonful. If I'm being really serious, I'll have one spoonful twice a day, 20 minutes before I eat my main meal. 15 minutes, 15 25 minutes.
And then the
And
main meal is
just the 8 ounces of beef, chicken, or pork.
raw.
So you have a half pound of meat twice a day. Yeah, raw.
Wow. Man, come on. This is so. So when you're saying, okay, let's say you do the tablespoon, you do too much. Isn't this you getting sick from that? Because you keep saying detox. So is there a detox being triggered, or is there some kind of sickness being had?
Well, so like I've eaten like a quarter pound of high meat in one sitting. I don't get sick. I just don't get the effects, and I'm burping a lot.
Okay.
The only times where I've gotten sick was when I used a cutting board that it's contaminated with other ingredients. Like I'll have a cutting board, I'll cut onions and tomato on it, and then I'll wash it in the sink with hot water, and then it's like what slightly cooked in there, and then so you mix something cooked with it. The cooked food is what rots. If you do this with cooked food, you'll get very sick. You cannot do this with a cooked steak. If the high meat gets too hot, like if it gets too hot in my car, if I keep it in a shed in the backyard and the shed gets too hot, it'll make me sick. If I want to make it hotter so it ferments faster and I put it in a cooler with hot water, it'll cook it a little bit and then that will make me sick. And
Yeah.
if it's frozen, that also changes it. Frozen food is technically not raw anymore. So
True.
it has to be
True.
proper quality and fresh and not contaminated. And so you're talking about the detox. Well, look, if I have the frozen meat into high meat, I'll get one squirt of diarrhea. It's not a big deal. It's just a
Okay.
little bit. It
Okay.
doesn't me up. It just is detoxing. You don't want to always force the detox. You want to detox gently in ways that don't trigger symptoms.
Okay.
And so you're asking about sickness versus detox. I don't get sick from the high meat. If you're already sick, if you have a cold or flu, you don't want to eat the high meat because it'll make it stronger. Because all that bacteria being introduced will start dissolving the toxins faster. But if you're already feeling good, you eat high meat. I've given it to dozens of people.
Dozens
Most
of
of them not
people.
even having been on the diet. I convinced random people off Snapchat to eat
Yeah.
high meat. Like people off of Quick Ad on Snapchat, I would convince them to eat high meat.
I
And
remember seeing a video where you had, I think you had two people in a car. They were young guys, and one black guy. He did it, and he was just like, okay. And it was like mixed. It was like raw. It wasn't high meat, but it was
that wasn't
raw.
high meat. That was just some pork.
Yeah, exactly. And then you
Yeah,
ate. He ate
he
it, and he
actually
was like,
recognized me in public off social media. He's like, "Are you the guy that eats raw
true.
meat?" Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then you gave it to the other guy. He chewed it for a while. He's like, let me cough, and then he spit it out.
yeah, yeah.
I remember that video. I was like, I can't believe this guy is convincing people. It's a hard thing to digest in your mind and socially, that this could possibly be a good thing. It's very hard to make that jump. I would imagine for a lot of people. You're saying dozens of people. Even that surprises me so much.
Yeah, there's just this one summer where I'd get like a new person to do it every week, and almost all of them were like, "This is like powerful." Like they said, like they felt obviously better. They were like, for at least one or like it works for like a week or two. You eat one spoonful for the next week, like you're just more inspired and more creative and happier. I'd say maybe 30-40% of them, they didn't notice anything. No benefit, no negative. But what I was
Okay.
saying was, it probably wasn't old enough. You know, they probably ate too small of a piece.
Okay.
Yeah. So the older it is, the stronger it gets. Like 1 month high meat, 6 month high meat is way stronger than 1 month high meat. It
Yeah,
only
for
gets
sure.
stronger.
That's wild. Yeah. I've seen other guys doing it, and I'm sure you guys you must cross paths somehow. But I've seen another guy doing it. It just looks like an average guy, and he's just like, this is what I bring to work, and he's like, I just eat this, and he says he feels great. Here's my question to you, because as I get older, I have to do blood work. I'm looking into myself, testosterone levels, thyroid, all this different stuff. Are you doing blood work at all and seeing where you're at?
No, we are completely opposed to blood work because
Ah, okay. Why's that?
blood work only shows you what's in the blood in the moment. It shows you what's circulating, not what's stored. So if you have something in the blood is circulating through the body. Just because something could be stored in the body and it's not being processed, it's not in the blood. So like the blood work just shows you like what you're detoxing right now, what nutrients are circulating through the body. It doesn't show you your overall health. So it's just a clear example. So Augustus had a client who had a kid who had, and after like 3 or 4 years in the diet or so, the kid was gone. He was able to speak and take care of himself. And the doctors were trying to scare the mom, saying that his blood work was terrible. And Augustus was like, his blood work is bad because the blood is removing the toxins causing his. So
Okay.
if the blood work wasn't bad, he would not have been making progress because the bad blood work shows toxins in the blood. It shows it's deficient because the toxins are damaging all the nutrients. Or also like he talks about patients who had polio. It's in his book. He cites everything. The ones who recovered from polio were the ones that had the highest concentration of polio in the blood, meaning they were able to remove what the polio was detoxing. Polio is a detox. So if they have polio symptoms and they don't have any polio, they're going to be crippled for life because they're never removing the problem.
So you're saying that you don't go with the blood work because it's not showing what's stored, but stored where? Because I mean, in like the case of testosterone, it is you're right, but also it is stored somewhere, right? Like gonads, testicle, like it is stored somewhere, although they're not like in, pulling out directly from that area. So where are you talking about when you talk about things being stored in the body?
I'm going to share my screen.
You have that option. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Can we make it the big picture?
It is right now.
Okay. So let's see. So how we analyze the health is with the iris. And so you can see everything in the body and where it's stored through the eye. Okay, this is a blurry picture, but so you can see like thyroid, kidney, the outer ring is the skin and lymphatic system. This part is the intestines. the
You're talking
iris.
about the one with the L in the middle, right? That
This is
you're
the like left
highlighting?
left eye.
Yes.
Yeah. Or wait, can you not see the screen I'm on? No,
I
you
can
can't.
see
Okay,
I
no, no,
can
no. Okay,
see
it didn't work. Okay, one second. It's not on the right tab. Okay, let me.
you should have something where it says like share this tab instead. It should say it
Okay,
like
here.
there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the left iris, and you can see around the whole eye. You can see everything: thyroid, kidney, and the whole outer ring is like the skin and lymphatic system. The inner part is the colon, the digestive tract, and you can see everything through here. And so different colors in the eye will coordinate with different toxins. And oops. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm changing tabs. You can't see it. I'll just stop sharing
Lower
for a
back,
second.
lower back,
Trying to pull
middle.
up
Huh.
Agenus's iris.
So when you show that whole iris scale, what is that from? Is that like Eastern medicine? Like where does that originate from?
I'm not exactly sure where it originates, but Agenus
Okay.
refined the system because the traditional iridology systems have a lot of issues with it. And Agenus even says that some people who have analytical brains, people who are engineers, the entire layout of their iris is different. And so he'll take your iris and he will have to like draw a chart for every single individual person's iris because everybody's eye can be a little bit different. And
Of
if your
course.
brain is if your brain is wired differently, it will manifest very differently. And so you take a picture of your iris once a year to analyze your health. You could do blood work today and then do blood work next week and it's completely different, but that doesn't mean your health improved like that in 1 week. It's a long-term process.
So have you been doing this with the pictures of the eyes?
I have never had like a professional iris photo, and I took pictures when I first started, but I don't have them anymore. I don't have any of my own iris pictures. I haven't been taking the pictures. It's a big deal, and I should. I've just
You should
been
try. You should try
not
with your
locked in.
phone. I have a friend who's a photographer, and he wasn't doing it for any other purpose than just art, but he was taking some pretty solid pictures of his own eye, and it was really good. So you might want to like he was
Well,
just
yeah,
getting like right up
I
on it,
have some
but he also
amateur.
has lenses and stuff.
I have amateur iPhone pictures of my eyes, but you cannot see the level of detail that you actually need without like a professional photo. And
Yeah,
because
he had
I
like
haven't
a
had the money.
telescope lens.
I don't. You need a macro lens. I haven't had the money to get the photo. I've been broke for all these years. So yeah, if you have money and you're starting to die, I'd get a photo on day one. I wish I did.
Funny enough, my wife and I were walking by a place that and again, it's just for fun. It's not for any type of benefit, but they do that type of thing, and then they put it on like a picture for you, and you can like take your eye and your wife's, and then your kids as well,
Yeah,
and
I've
have
seen
it
that.
all
They
like
have
in
that at
one
malls.
photo.
They have it at
Yeah.
malls.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, you should start doing that and see where you're really at. I know for me, I know you don't like blood work. I know for me, my life has improved dramatically from just wanting to know where I'm at with things, like dramatically. Because I had funny enough, I had a really rough health problem as well. It started after I was vegan, and it was in the gut, a lot of it. And all of a sudden I had all these deficiencies, and I also had symptoms of leaky gut. It was almost like GERD-like stuff. They thought I had celiac for a while, and yeah, it just became so odd. I couldn't tolerate milk all of a sudden. Which I couldn't before fully, but it became way worse, and I've just been like climbing out of that hole for years actually. Luckily, I actually worked with a lot of naturopaths and functional medicine practitioners, and they slowly helped me get my gut back on track. And only now, kind of like you, only now am I like I'm feeling really good. I've had like intense weight gain and all sorts of stuff. It's been really hard.
You know our perspective on weight gain. Have you seen it? Well, I have to share it for the audience.
I feel like I've heard you talk about. Did you say it was good? Like
Yeah,
it was a good
we
sign?
we get fat on purpose because
Okay.
the fat stabilizes the body. So if you're gaining weight, It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you need to get fat and hold on to it because it'll help your body heal more quickly. So people are like, "Oh, I'm gaining weight, my health's falling apart." I'm like, "No, you're actually improving in health because you're gaining weight, and if you don't try to get rid of it right away, you'll get healthier faster."
Re- really? Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't want to artificially force weight loss. If you have a very strong appetite and you're just gaining weight naturally, don't go against your body's natural instincts, you know? Keep gaining the weight. Put it on. Get as fat as you want, you know, and keep it fat. Yeah, get fat.
I like what I'm hearing. I could
As
go
long as
back
it's
to
not on
pizza.
garbage. As long as you're not eating like vegetable
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I was eating garbage years ago. Bad decisions, this and that. Real bad stint of just bad food decisions when my wife was pregnant. But a lot of it was just nervousness. I was very nervous if I could be a provider, if I could actually, keep us afloat. And I'm putting all my eggs into this YouTube channel, and I'm like, where is this even gonna go? So a lot of it was like nervous eating. So I don't know if it's actually where
Well,
my body
here's the
wants to be,
thing.
but
If you're eating
yeah,
because you're nervous, you are taking care of yourself because the food will calm down the nerves. If you're nervous, it's not like, oh,
that's
I'm
true.
eating because I'm nervous. I'm bad. It's like, no, you're doing what you should be doing because eating will calm you down and allow you to think more clearly.
I'm gonna bring I'm gonna bring this to my wife. She'll agree with it too. We both have serious appetites.
Yeah, you just need to buy a ice cream maker and start making raw ice cream and put berries and whatever you want in it and just pick out on the raw ice cream. Like it's literally just ice cream. It's not different
Bro,
at all. It's even more
bro,
flavor because when you pasteurize it, you dull the flavor. It's like if you want to if you don't change nothing about your diet, just start eating lots of raw ice cream. You'll benefit
bro,
your health. Yeah.
bro. I swear, just like 3 days ago, we bought an ice cream maker. We just bought one.
Well, just go on ChatGPT and ask where to get near me and pick up
Oh,
a
you're talking
gallon.
about.
Yeah,
Oh,
raw milk, and you get the cream, and then you just make the raw ice cream.
like that's another one. It's socially, we're very afraid of that stuff.
If I
Like
showed
we're
you a bowl of pasteurized ice cream and a bowl of raw ice cream, and I said try both of them, you'd probably say the raw is better,
You think
and
so?
you wouldn't even know.
True. True. Well, I mean, again, that's just one of those things where I'm like, I'd have to take your word for it because, again, that's one of those things where we're taught that that's not a good thing to consume. It's just one of those things that's
It's
ingrained
a
in
money-driven
people.
agenda.
Well, I
They want.
definitely know that about the dairy industry. Like, I've looked into that quite a bit, although I don't like take in,
Well, I mean, if you're
pasteurized milk,
consuming,
any milk,
if
but
you're taking
yeah.
the, if you're drinking the amount of medication you'd need, the doctor visits are going to go down. And look, if you're drinking, it shows one thing: you're not scared of the bacteria. And if you're not scared of the bacteria, you're not going to go to the doctor and buy antibiotics every time you get sick. It'll completely destroy the industry. Like literally, like is illegal in most places, but you can buy cigarettes and alcohol anywhere. Like literally, like the head of the health department got fired because of Agenus in Los Angeles because they, in part of the banning of, they cited a case where this one girl drowned and she had E. coli in her stomach. And because her family drank, the got blamed. So most of the science is based off of survey, no
Mm.
real studies. It's based on correlation, linked to, associated with, and they can cherry pick anything. It's all bullshit science.
Yeah, well, I mean, over the past few years, we've seen that play out pretty well. So so I can't go too hard against you there in terms of that. But like again, I don't know anything about at all. Like it's just yeah. But honestly, I'm at a point now where I don't know anything about any dairy products at all. I pretty much just avoid it altogether.
Do you know
And
do you know the
what?
very first principle for why people drink?
No, no, I have no idea.
When you pasteurize it, you destroy all the bacteria and the enzymes, so that makes it hard to digest. So then you don't
Mm.
have lactose intolerance, you're pasteurization intolerant. So when you drink it raw, the enzymes and bacteria that help you digest it are already there. So most people who have digestive issues with pasteurized milk, they drink and immediately they can tolerate it. Like all of a sudden they
Really?
don't have any problem.
Huh. That's interesting.
But
That's
it is
very,
best
very
if you drink at room
interesting.
temperature. Some people still get issues drinking it cold. When it's
Yeah, yeah.
cold, it's a lot harder to digest.
I have seen videos where people talking about, yeah, having it at room temperature. But when it comes to all this, okay, so now blood work, you stay away from blood work, okay. But what about parasites? Is there no concern with parasites at all with all of this? The milk, the meat, everything.
No, there's no concern about parasites whatsoever. If I saw a tapeworm in my poop, I would laugh, smile, and take a picture and post on Instagram and be like, finally.
Why? Why?
Because it's a sign that things are working properly. Because if you can't have a parasite, you got a problem. Because
What? Why?
your body's too toxic to be able to host one. So
Oh man, come on. Okay. Because it's so funny that that kind of makes sense. But I do not want any parasites.
you know
Although
how
I
they,
probably have them.
you know how like they do fecal matter transplants and stuff with people who have
Yes.
good guts, and
Yes.
the researchers are constantly studying primitive tribes poop and stuff, and
Are
like the
they?
primitive tribes have like worms, they have parasites, and so like primitive humans, they have trichinosis, not because they're dirty but because they're healthy. And then Joel Weinstock, a gastroenterologist, he in University of Iowa, he did an experiment with whipworm with people with IBS, and it alleviated their symptoms basically immediately, almost all of them. And he had the idea to do the experiment because the pigs on his farm, he knew they had trichinosis, but the pigs in the university were sterile and had none. And when the pigs in the university were in poor health, and he gave them the parasites from his pigs at home, and they immediately became healthy. And so he wanted to try it with people. And so, you got the probiotics, the bacteria in your gut which digests your food. The nutrients you absorb is the byproduct of the bacterial digestion. The parasites is just another layer of that. It doesn't steal your nutrients. Does the probiotics steal your nutrients? No, it makes it easier to digest. Same thing goes for the parasites.
No, no, come on. We live in completely opposite worlds. Like I'm black, you're white, I have no hair, you have beautiful long hair. You're telling me parasites are good.
Yeah, never do parasite cleanses. If you have a tapeworm, throw a party.
That's amazing to hear. But isn't it, so basically your thinking is that you're healthy enough to host one, and somehow it's helping you along with whatever you eat if you did have
Yeah,
one.
you'll progress towards better health quicker because you process everything more efficiently.
Wow.
So
Wow.
people will
That's,
literally like order parasite eggs from Europe on this diet to get it on purpose.
oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah, and people are like, I couldn't gain weight for years. Then I ordered these parasite eggs and I gained 30, 40 pounds in like 3 or 4 months.
Why are they trying to gain weight? I don't know. I've always been big.
Well,
I'm
because we
always
want
trying
to
to lose
detox,
weight.
because the fat gives you more nutrients. You heal faster when you're fat.
We're just from completely different. We're from different unit. This is a
If
simulation. We're just
if,
from
if
different.
you if you are trying if you're in poor health, if you're highly toxic, if you're unstable, well, first thing, if you're unstable, why? Your brain and nervous system either has too much sugar or it's not being balanced. So if your brain and nervous system is unbalanced because you're skinny, you're not you don't have enough nutrients. So if you gain 30 pounds, every cell in your body is going to receive more nutrients. So then you balance out, you calm down. And so you get fat, you calm down. And then if you have chronic fatigue because you have tons of heavy metals, if you get fat, you can remove more heavy metals faster with less symptoms because the symptoms arise when you develop deficiencies. So if you're detoxing, your body has to use nutrients to remove it, and then you become deficient and you get symptoms. But if you gain extra fat, you can detox faster without becoming deficient. So then when you do get sick, you don't experience pain. You might be coughing and sneezing, but you're not going to be sore. You're not going to be in pain if you get fat. You're not going to have as much, at least.
That's interesting. That is an interesting way of looking at it. And then now, when it comes to this, I hate to sound like, I don't want to sound like MSNBC and be like, well, we're the experts. But like, have you been watching this happen with people, which is why you're coming to these conclusions? Have you been seeing this happen for people?
Well, 3 years ago, I'm not fat now, but I went through a really good period where I gained 40 pounds in 10 weeks, and like I had a giant belly.
In 10
And
weeks.
yeah, 40 pounds in 10 weeks. I weighed myself, and it was awesome. I was so relaxed. I was laughing all the time. I was so happy. And so I haven't been able to get like fat at the same time I've been sick. I always end up, it's hard for me to stay consistent enough to really gain the fat because of my unstable circumstances in my life. It's hard to stay consistent. And also, like, I've been lazy.
Is it unstable, or is it your metabolism? Like, is like you said, don't go against your body's natural flow.
Well, I mean,
So
I've been living
isn't
in the
this
car
just
for 4 years.
true? True.
Yeah.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I'm just
Yeah.
staying with a friend right now, an old subscriber.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, that's nice. That's nice that the community's holding you up to a certain
Yeah.
extent, is willing to. That's really nice,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. For me, it's really easy to put on weight. Like, does that mean I'm really healthy? Is that what that means?
Congratulations, you have good digestion.
It means that, like, I can put on,
That's
like,
a
I
good
could
thing. That's a very good
easily
thing.
I could
Very
easily
good.
put on 50 pounds in like 2 months. Easily if I wanted to.
That's good. Your body's capable of it. Most people can't if they tried.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it means you're able to utilize the nutrients.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. You're,
I
you're
wish
making
I
me
could do that.
look at you're
I
making me
have
look at
to
myself differently.
I have to eat until I'm nauseous 3 times a day to gain weight. That's why I don't want to gain weight. That's why I don't end up doing it, because it's like I have to eat so much that I have to like sleep for an hour and I'm exhausted. I'm like nauseous because I'm so full. That's what I have to do to gain weight. That's why I never do it.
Wow. Wow. This is an amazing experience I'm having right now, hearing all of this stuff. So right now you're basically like what are you trying to evolve what you do into, right? So you're going through some hardships, you're in the car, you're trying to like bounce back health wise and otherwise. What are you trying to evolve this to? You're trying to evolve this into a YouTube channel, a podcast, a practice. Like, what are you trying to make your life into, basically?
Well, career-wise, I need to get more people on the diet so that I can start clubs with the Amish to ship product to all the cities. So every city that I have 20 members, we can ship a pallet there and get like, instead of paying $100 to ship a package to Miami, we could do it for 30. So the goal is to get enough people in all these cities to where we can get the bulk shipping discount, and then we'll contract with the Amish farmers and set up private clubs. And then so instead of the diet costing you $1,500 a month, I could get it down to 1,200. So the goal is to provide more affordable foods. It's a good service. I'm helping people improve their health, have access to the foods, and also most people won't do it because of the social aspect. So the thing is, I have to develop the culture. I have to create community around it. Just because
Yeah.
two people are on the diet doesn't mean they're going to be friends. So there has to be something.
True.
Yeah, just because two people eat raw meat doesn't mean they're going to get along. So what I'm doing is developing the culture, the deeper purpose behind it, and then bringing people together and providing the food sources.
You're like
And,
you're like a young Terrence McKenna trying to go from town to town, trying to
I
spread
don't-
your
I don't-
message.
I don't know what Terrence McKenna did marketing wise. I know who he is, but what I want
He
to
literally just went from place to place having talks about things that people didn't know about.
Sure.
And he always had a philosophy of keeping it really small because he wanted to stay under the radar. So he'd always have like 150 like max people listening to a long seminar, and people would record it. And yeah, that's how we know him today. And he's been dead for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I really want to do is start clubs where we rent out studios and we have hot tubs in there, because the hot tub is a part of the detox. And there'll be kitchens in the studios where people can come and use the high quality juicers and stuff. That way you can do the hot baths, you can get the food, and we'll have like music events. We'll have parties and stuff, so that there's like actually a social aspect. So the goal is to develop the social side of the diet community. And then on my own personal life, stay more diligent. I don't cheat on the diet. I just don't take the time to make all the recipes all the time. So I want to stay more consistent with that so I can make better progress more quickly. I'm in much better health than I was. I used to get injured every time I went to the gym. I can work out now. I'm in decent health now, but I still want to take it further.
I feel like one thing that I definitely feel like, because I'm mainly just like meat and fruit basically, and most of the time it's just meat. There's only like I really only like apples, and like I don't like gorge on fruit or anything, but just the ones that like I really like I'll have like maybe once a day. But I feel like as I'm eating meat, I work out, I have a good build and everything. I feel like if you were doing that diet, because it makes me think back to like cavemen. So I feel like you'd become really jacked. Like you'd work out and you'd like have everything because you'd just be eating like just straight up 3 pounds of meat, like you're saying, and like you'd become really like ripped. Like, are you seeing anybody with those kind of results, or is everybody just like
There's some people on the
detoxing?
diet who work out, but the thing is, the primal diet community is plagued with this idea that a lot of these people, Alginus never said this, a lot of people think that working out is unhealthy. So most of the people on the diet are completely against going to the gym. They think
Really?
that going to the gym is egotistical and all this. And like,
Ah, I hate
I
that mindset.
yeah, I know, I do too. I would really like to be jacked and everything, but I just haven't been in the gym. Like at some point in the near future, I'm going to be taking the gym really seriously and getting jacked. There are a few people who are eating raw meat and working out. Like there are ways that you can expedite your progress with the diet in terms of fitness. Like what's interesting is there's actually a few like high level soccer players, football players in Europe doing the diet. So there's some soccer football
Wait a
community.
second. There's soccer players doing this
Like
diet?
the professional, I don't know how professional they are, but they travel and they compete. And they're not in high
Really?
school. They're on teams in Europe
If you
for
tell me
football.
it's like Cristiano Ronaldo or something, I'll flip out right
No,
now. It's
nobody
like,
like that. Nobody famous.
it's like
Nobody
Leon
famous.
Messi just eating raw
It's
meat
just
on.
interesting. There's a few people who are playing football in Europe who take the diet really seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. Yeah, I was gonna ask where are you seeing this pop up the most? Because I know you're trying to do your thing, but I'm sure there's other people as well. Is it happening more in Europe, or is it more in America? Is there anything in Canada? Like, where are you seeing a lot of this?
Uh,
Africa?
it's mainly just Europe and the United States.
Really? I bet you there's some tribes out in Africa that can show you guys a thing or two,
Well, yeah,
for
they
sure.
eat raw meat, but there's actually only one black guy I know on Instagram who eats raw meat. It's
Really?
yeah, his username is like first black primal. That's his thing. Yeah.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to think about because it's something that I can't wrap my head around. The high meat, definitely not. I couldn't do that. And this is coming from somebody like I got tattooed. I got a whole sleeve of like mushroom tattoos. Like I'm big into psychedelics. So I've put things in my body not knowing what's going to happen. I've done it. But that one is a hard one to consider, definitely. Man, but I was gonna ask you, where are you on psychedelics? Have you had that experience, or do you stay away from that because of the diet or
Oh,
something?
I've been a heavy psychedelic user.
Cool,
I
cool.
just I have not done very much for a long time, but I used to do a lot of acid.
I bet, man. To be this open, I bet you have, man. I've done a lot of that myself as well, like
I
a
used to
whole
smoke
bunch.
DMT every day. I do
Really?
acid every weekend or every 2 weeks. I do mushrooms like once every month.
Man, yeah, yeah. I had my time where I was doing it like that, man. Like it was a lot. It was a lot, but it was good. It was like what I needed at the time for my mind. I was trying to work a lot of stuff out. But what's your wildest experience? Like
Well,
I don't
it's
mean like a night out, but like in terms of like an
you'll
experience that you
you'll
had.
see you'll I'm gonna release my book in a few weeks, the my life story. But there's one time where I took way too much and I thought I was in the Matrix and I ran through a golf course naked and got tased by the cops. I'll be posting.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the hospital. I had to go to court and everything. But
Oh
you'll
no.
see that on my YouTube soon, like my acid trip story. But I would just I would take acid for my meditation practices. I would take acid and I'd meditate. That's what I did.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be all in my book.
that's what I used to that's what I did with it at first too. I would funny enough, the first time I did it, I was on the way to work and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how it worked and how long it lasted. So I was on the way to work and I had like this crazy commute because it was like the first job I got in a while and I was really down bad and I just needed, money. So I was like, okay, 3 hour commute, whatever, I'll do it. And I decided that I would do it in the morning. I'd take this 3 hour commute and like by the time I was off the bus or whatever, off the bus and the trains and everything, that I would be fine. And then as I was on like the last bus, I was like, man, this is like progressing quite a bit. Like this is getting stronger and stronger. And then I looked it up and I'm like, how long does this usually last? And then it said like 12 to like 15 hours. And I was like, oh no. So it was like my first day of work at this job in a call center. And I'm peaking, just peaking in this scenario, trying to keep it together. And then I see a girl who she looks like a raver type. She has like blue dreadlocks. She has tattoos all over her hands and her knuckles, big glasses, and I'm like, I think I can trust this girl. And I go, hey, I'm like peaking on acid right now. And she goes to sit beside me. She's like, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And like all the training and stuff, she just like helped me with. But she was like, this is a very bad decision. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I didn't realize. Very sorry. Shout out to Tess.
I don't know how you could have taken that and not known.
I just I got it from someone. Basically, like the story was basically I always had this thing with my friend. It was like if you find psilocybin, make sure you get enough for the both of us. If I find it, I'll do the same. And I see this guy, I'm working this job, and he gives me his email and it has like shroom in it. And I'm like, this guy's the guy. He has red dreadlocks like down to his, like, oh, this guy's the guy to ask. So I run over to him. I'm like, hey man, I really helped him out when I was like processing him for this phone company. I really helped him out, like more than other people would have. And I'm like, hey, do you have any psilocybin, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, no. He goes, but you know what? He goes, I have something that's probably just as good. He's like, if you like that, he's like, you'll love this. And he just gives me like a bunch of tabs. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, how does this work? Like, I didn't know anything. He's like, just take one. He's like, you're good. And that was it. And I was like, okay. So I just did that. I took one and just, yeah, it was a mistake, but I got through it.
I would recommend. I have a very methodical way of taking them.
Yeah. After that, when it came to anything, psilocybin, anything, I started paying it a lot of reverence, and I didn't do it for recreation anymore. And it would trend on ceremonial when I would do it. Just, you got to learn those hard lessons. Like you with the diet, you're drinking like a whole thing of rotten berry juice or fermented berry juice or whatever. And the next thing you know, you're flying or you're sick. It's pretty crazy, man. But yeah, that was my first time on it. So you've been a heavy user of that. Does that contribute to do you think it contributes to any of this that you're doing now? Like the openness?
I wouldn't know because I didn't not take it. So I couldn't tell you how I would be if I didn't.
I feel like even me being able to have conversations like this, tomorrow I'm going to talk, or Sunday I'm going to talk to, I'm pretty conservative, but I'm still open-minded.
Well,
like
the difficult thing is I started taking it when I was 16, so I didn't get to learn who I was before I started taking it.
Yeah, I have a friend that did that too. He started at like 14. I didn't start until I was in my
30
20s.
years old, and I knew how I was for 10 years already.
True. Well, I would say it probably opened you up quite a bit. I mean, that's literally what it does with everybody, Yeah. So that's pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. So psilocybin, that's something that you've done as well, yeah?
Yeah, not as much as I have the acid. Like,
really?
I've done, I don't know, maybe only like 30 mushroom trips.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm around that, like probably double, but like, yeah, within that realm. Hero doses and stuff like that.
Acid was my favorite, and I really liked DMT, but shrooms would just make me sick every time. But now I know that if you make a raw tea with it, and you strain it with the cheesecloth, then there's no nausea.
Yes, that's yeah, I learned that too. And yeah, we ended up just making tea all the time, very strong tea. And yeah, the times I ate it though, I was fine. Like there'd be like some disruption a
Oh no,
little
I would get
bit,
really
but
sick. It'd be horrible.
oh, really? Really?
Yeah, I could never eat mushrooms.
Oh, wow, I've never seen that with anybody in my time. That's great. It makes sense though. I mean, it's disgusting as you're eating it, and yeah,
It's not that. Like,
obviously.
I would eat it and not be worried about the taste, but an hour or two later, I just get so nauseous
Wow.
and it'd be really uncomfortable.
Wow. I've had that with tea actually a few times. I've had that like a few times with tea as well. It just all depends. But they always say there's no bad trips, there's only difficult ones. That's what I always say.
How I do the tea with no nausea is I'll chew the mushrooms for like 5 minutes. I'll spit it in a cup, mix it with water, and stir it for like 5 minutes, and then I strain it through a white cotton T-shirt or a cheesecloth.
Really?
A strainer does not work because you're still going to have some fiber in it. It has to be cotton,
Ah, okay.
natural fiber, like silicone.
Yeah.
Well, probably not
Yeah,
silicone, cotton.
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, where are you like I just I'm so interested to know cuz like my life's taking me towards like stand-up comedy and interviews, and so you're just basically on the path to becoming a teacher, it seems like, and having a homestead of sorts.
Yeah, I want to host music festivals,
And then that
and
as well. Are you like a DJ? Do you have
I'm a
that kind of
musician.
passion? Oh, are you?
Yeah,
What do you play?
mainly drums, but I'm going to get into guitar soon. So
Cool,
like the
cool.
issue, I love the idea of music festivals. I just don't like seeing people wear tails and act all weird and smoking, and I don't like the bug spray and the diesel generators and perfume. Like it's gonna be like no smoking at the festival, no perfume, no bug spray. It's primal diet music festivals. That's what I want to have. But it doesn't have to be like a whole music festival. Just live concerts, live music. I want to have live music, camping in nature, and clean
This
air. 'Cause the smoking and all that ruins it, and all
you
the
you sound more like you want a retreat.
yeah. I don't like seeing all the LGBT people. I don't like seeing all that. So
Really?
yeah,
You don't like that? Okay.
no,
Not that I thought you
it's
were that or
disturbing.
anything. Just
No, it's disturbing.
it's disturbing. That's funny. That's actually really
Yeah, it's
funny.
annoying. I don't want to see that.
So yeah, we are definitely in sync in a lot of places. It's just the raw meat. I can't get with the raw meat. I don't know. It's very interesting because as you know, when it comes to when it comes to psychs and that whole world, a lot of people would look at it the way that I'm looking at you right now, and they'd be like, this is not something that you can do and you should stay away from it. And and then all of a sudden it's like years go by, and now people know that it's actually good, and there's research coming out. So I do wonder if over time there will be more research towards what you're doing and what that turns into. What are you about to do? What is that? What
That's
is that?
cheese.
Is that like the most normal thing that you eat? I thought something crazy was about to happen.
No, just cheese. Cheese.
I was like, oh no, this guy's about to eat raw chicken in front of me.
No.
Um, when it comes to, another thing I saw recently, which I hadn't been seeing before, is you're washing your hair with raw eggs, it looks like.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
It's just
Why?
the shampoo, the diet.
That's just the shampoo of the diet. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
because
know
we don't
what?
use products. We use everything natural. Because all the
So you,
shampoos are pasteurized, they're cooked and everything.
so you don't put anything in your hair?
Raw eggs.
That's it.
Just raw eggs.
Cause yeah, like you're flossing right now. You have gorgeous hair. I gotta
Thank you.
say, like you got amazing hair. So this is like, see, that's the one thing you got to think, like when it comes to movements, like how do you pull people in? You can pull in a huge female dynamic if you're like, this is all I put in my hair, and if you just come and listen to me a little bit, I can show you how to have hair like this.
Yeah,
That's
well, 2 years it'll be on my.
Yeah, man, you can definitely sway some ladies like that. If they don't have to, if all they have to do is buy eggs that they already have, that might be a big selling point. You should think about that, man. You got to think of like how to market this stuff. You know? Man. But yeah, so what else? What else do you have coming up, coming out, going on? Like what's next for you? I know right now you're in between trying to figure things out, but like what's going on right now?
Well, right now I'm just finishing my book, and I have some more Agenus content I'm going to put up, laying the framework for the primal knowledge, and then I have some new high meat cooking. And when that's ready, I'll be eating it every day again, and then I'll start going viral again. And then
True.
my page will be solid for the new people. And the primary focus will be actually astrology, Vedic astrology, and I'll be educating people on meditation and Vedic astrology on my second page. That's the main priority. And so Western astrology and Vedic is very different. Western astrology, it's the sun is 23 degrees off for every sign. So almost everybody's signs are completely wrong, and every sign is wrong basically, and it lacks depth and technique. And Vedic astrology comes out of India, and it's much older, and it's not just a personality, it's not a quirk, it's not a something like that. Like Vedic astrology is about reading your karma and seeing your destiny and understanding your dharma. And you can, like, I've met girls in my life, I've had certain experiences, and I know exactly why things have happened when they've happened because I could see it in the chart in very clear detail. Like, if you want to predict external events in your life, there's two things you need to do. There's the dasha system. The dasha is like a planetary rulership system where you go through periods where certain planets are heavily active in your chart, and there's three layers of it. The first layer, the planet will change depending on the planet every like 7 to 20 years. And then the second layer is every year or two, and the third one it's every few weeks. So let's say you're in a sun dasha.
Okay.
It lasts about 7.5 years. I don't remember exactly. That entire part of your life, your sun is going to be heavily amplified. Every theme in your life is going to be based on the sun and where it is in your chart. If your sun is in the third house, it's going to be about self-expression and willpower. If it's in the seventh house, it's going to be about exerting your authority and ego in relationships. If it's in the ninth house, it's going to be about your authority in wisdom and higher knowledge. And you can look at, okay, well then there's a second layer, the Antar Dasha. There's two layers. So
Yeah.
at first you're in sun. That lasts a year or two. I don't know how long. And then you go into sun moon. And then the moon is activated in your chart. Wherever that is, it activates that. And then it also activates the house that it naturally rules. So sun rules Leo. So you look at where sun is. You look at where Leo is. Both of those charts, those houses are getting activated. So let's say you have Venus in Leo and you're in a sun dasha. That house is activated. Your Venus is activated. So then you look at the major planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and then you have Rahu and Ketu. Those are shadow planets. And the Venus and Mercury.
What's a shadow planet?
You can't see it in the sky, but it's like a spiritual planet that you cannot see, but it's very real.
Okay.
And so whenever one of the major planets crosses over a chart, a planet that is activated by dasha, you can almost guarantee an external event will manifest. So, for example, let's say Ketu. Ketu represents past life knowledge, past life connection. It represents wilderness. It represents ghosts. It represents out of body. It represents like a past life karma. So let's say you're in a dasha where either Venus is activated or the house Venus sits in, and you're a man. Let's say you're single. When K2 goes over your Venus within 3 degrees, the degrees within in the sky, every sign has 30 degrees. Whenever it hits 3 degrees within that sign, that planet, It's going to be activated, and you're probably guaranteed to meet a girl. But it's going to be a temporary relationship to detox the energy of your life revolving around Venus. Or let's say it's moon. Moon is related to woman. It could cause an intense emotional experience. A girl will come in your life. Let's say you have moon in the 7th house relating to other people, and
Okay.
K2 goes over your moon. So 7th house is other people. The 1st house is you. So it brings people into your life. K2 going in the 7th house where moon would be sitting in someone's chart, it will, if it's activated by Dasha, it will bring someone into your life that will trigger a massive emotional experience, and then they will leave you. Or it'll be some kind of lesson, and it's not going to last because K2 does not bring permanence. And you can see all types of things. Let's say you have Venus being activated in the 5th house, and 5th house is sexual expression. And let's say Mars goes over your Venus. You're probably going to get some hookups. You're probably going to get laid. You know, so you can see all these types of things in every area of your life. And I'm just talking about girls and dating, but
Yeah.
your entire, like, for me, when I found the diet, my Rahu, it takes 18 years for Rahu to go back. And right when Rahu was right about to cross where it was when I was born in my chart, I found the diet immediately at the exact same time. So you could see your destiny through the chart. And by knowing what's going to happen, you can prepare for it, and you can understand why things are happening. And it gives you faith that, you know, it has a purpose. It's not just people are like, oh, something bad's going to happen. No, actually, something is going to reveal something difficult inside of you that you're going to be forced to confront. The difficult experience is not to hurt you. It's to reveal something that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I've been really deep into lately.
That's very interesting. Cause like, even as like that last part that you just said, you know, like I'm into, you know, I've been saved and I'm into Christianity now, and it's been like 3 years, and it's helped me get sober and everything. But, you know, the relationship that people have, a lot of the relationship people have with God is exactly towards that. It's not that something bad is going to happen that you have to like veer away from, but it's going to be a part of a greater plan, which is exactly like what you're like breaking down with all these different houses and dasha and everything like that. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it helps you understand why things have happened. It's not random. It's like you go through that emotional experience because there's something you're ignoring, or you need to be opened up in some way. It needs to open your heart. And it's helped me to be more understanding of others, because people are the way they are because of their chart. And it's like you can see people's destinies. It's like you don't have to force people to do things. You don't have to force your will over them, because you'll just understand that what's going to happen for them is what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's definitely, again, yeah, that does ring true now. When Christianity, a lot of people, you know, maybe not follow that completely, but I definitely have learned that as well. Like, people are doing what they're meant to do, even if it's something that you feel has inflicted negativity or even hurt upon your own life. Like, they're doing what they're supposed to do, you know, quote unquote, even when it seems terrible. Because it's very true. Like, even when somebody does, like, I've had, like, when you talked about like having somebody come in your life, massive emotional reaction, and then they leave, like, I've had that exact thing. And that person actually primed me to be a good husband, because now I know what it's like to inflict emotional pain on somebody to such a wild extent like this person did to me. So now when I'm with my wife, I'm perfectly primed to like know not to hurt her and know how to treat her properly.
It's not random at all. It's destiny.
Yeah. And it definitely feels that way as it goes, like, because it definitely, like, when you say it's destiny, it feels that way, because if I didn't go through that, would I even have met my wife, you know? Like, would I even have been set up in a way for me to actually meet her and connect with her? Because none of it feels, I don't know about you, so much of this, I know you're talking about the charts, it doesn't feel by mistake. Like, I met my wife on Tinder, and it was because we were both in a 10-kilometer radius of each other. And it was because she was working on a night where she wasn't supposed to be working. Like that's the only reason that we connected.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So it doesn't feel random. Like I don't know. A lot of people have this, and I feel like you're not in that camp where they feel like everything is just at random and nothing's really planned or orchestrated. And I don't feel that way at all when it comes to this stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Well, where are you at on talking about like randomness and self-determination and stuff like that? Where are you at with like simulation theory? You think about that stuff at all or no?
I don't know if we have free will or not, but I'm going to make the most of my life whether I do or not. And if I have free will or not, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm happy with who I am in my life. And so I don't have to think about it a lot because it's like I'm enjoying the process.
True. Yeah, I don't, yeah, there is that aspect when it comes to simulation theory where people kind of say, you know, like, so what? Like, so what if it is one? You know, like I have that kind of stance where people kind of talk about it like it's game theory. And, you know, this is a simulation like some sort of game. But I'm like, even if it is, it's still your life, you know? Like,
I definitely don't believe it's computer technology based. I believe it's God. I believe that the whole universe is God, and we're the universe experiencing itself, and it's part of coming to realize that dream that we're in.
So you do believe in God? You're like you're a believer.
Well, if you want to talk about God like a Christian God, no.
Well, I just mean like in some
In
I don't know.
higher. I don't even like the word higher power. I believe in an infinite intelligence that at the core, at the very base, is pure love, and that's what everything is, and that's what we're coming to realize.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Christian God has layers because there's layers of text to go through. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what everybody's feeling. Like even Christian Catholics, I mean, even, you know, Judaism, like there is this whole thing of like a father relationship. We're all like the children. So
yeah, I don't see God as male. I
mean, yeah. I just mean like there's this parent aspect where like now that I have a kid, I can kind of understand like the whole, I understood the concept of God a lot clearer now that I have a kid. Because it's like before the kid was even born, I had all these plans and I had nothing but love. And I was completely just enamored with this person that hasn't even become a person yet. And there's just nothing but love there. And even now, there's nothing but love, no matter what they do, you know, no matter how they walk in their destiny. I love them no matter what. So I have an understanding of God towards that extent, that there's love for us no matter what.
Yeah, I don't have a firm perspective of whether it's a God, if God is a child and father relationship or not, because I haven't experienced that realization. I don't speak really out of experience. I haven't had that merging with God effect yet. So
not even in the psychedelic use? You haven't felt anything like that?
I haven't experienced the complete realization, no.
No, yeah, the complete realization. But like you've never felt like, well, I guess it's like oneness that people end up feeling on hero doses and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I've had experiences, but my logical perspective is that it's like realizing that everything is God and we are God, experiencing itself. And it's like I believe God turned into the world. God didn't create the world; He turned into it, and that's what we are. But I haven't experienced the Most High realization, so I can't say exactly.
True. Yeah, that is one to really consider. You know, AI recently came up with a theory about us, about people, and it was like somebody asked it, like, you know, some kind of conspiracy question, and it came up with a scenario where Earth is actually a prison planet, and we are all we're all supposed to be godlike beings that were sent here, and it's like, not, I shouldn't say a prison planet, but more like a detention center.
That's like Gnostic.
It was very weird to hear, because it was talking about how we're godlike beings, but we all got stripped of all of our powers and we're put on this place into meat suits because we can't be trusted with these godlike powers until we learn everything.
AI did not invent that. That's basic. Am I even pronouncing it right? Gnostic.
Oh. It's not agnostic. It's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, Gnostic.
Yes.
That's exactly what that is. They talk about meat suits. They talk about Earth being a
Do
prison.
they?
Like, okay, technically, according to Hindu tradition, the Vedic tradition, it's like, or Buddhist is like, reincarnation is a trap, and you're supposed to escape it, and the world's bad. Like, I don't see it like that. My perspective is like, let's optimize reincarnation. Let's not try to stop reincarnating. Let's make reincarnation optimal, so that we're born into a heaven of eternity. You know, like, society's perfect, everything's perfect, and like, you know, people say that if everything is perfect, nothing would be perfect, because then everything would be boring. But it could still have layers of development. It doesn't mean it's going to be the same for all of eternity. But I see that heaven is creating a perfectly pure earth where you reincarnate into the most wonderful place possible for all of eternity. That's my goal, to make the world, to work towards that.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, do you ever think that that's, like, I know you're saying that's your goal. Do you ever think that that's possible? Like, and I'll say it like this, outside of yourself, given the circumstances of the governments throughout the world and how things are and the distribution.
Yeah, it might take thousands of years, but that's what we're working towards.
True. Where do you stand? Because you're talking about take thousands of years, and that's what we're working towards. It makes me think of this. Where do you stand on AI? Because AI could be the disrupting of our divine selves getting to that point. That's how I look at it sometimes. Where do you stand on AI?
Well, I think that I don't think about it a lot, because I believe that everything's gonna be fine for me.
True.
But for others, I think there's a lot of concerns. Like, there's gonna be no DoorDash, there's gonna be no Uber, there's gonna be no Walmart employees. It's all robots. The robots pick the item and they bring it to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's gonna be everything's gonna be self checkout, and most of the jobs are gonna be automated. And then there'll be some sort of basic universal income, smart cities, and it's going to be better in some ways and worse in others. But the thing is, like, once this happens, it might be really, really hard for the classes to change.
Yes.
Because entrepreneurship might cease to exist. And wherever things are is probably where it's going to stay for a very long time, unless you're that 1 out of 5,000 people who has the intellectual wiring to work with AI in a way that AI can't, and to improve it. There's going to be a small class of people who, like, are capable of making it, and then everybody's going to stay where they are for a very, 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 very long time, probably 2,000 years or so. And so the idea is, like, okay, let's get money before this happens. So we got have a farm before this happens. So the idea is that we're likely to have pockets of new civilizations, like, away from society. We're gonna have major cities. We're gonna have small hippie whatever communities, not hippie, but we're gonna have communities, small pockets of communities all over the place. And the goal is to get one of those before it's too late.
Yeah. You know what that makes me think of? I often have this idea that as AI grows, like, and I also have this idea that this has happened before, that technology gets to a certain point where it's just so intrusive, under the skin type of place we're at, where everything's automated, like you're saying. And then those little pockets of people that you're talking about, those people go deep into the forest. If they're in, South America, they go deep into the jungles. Africa, deep into the jungles. They go deep and deep and deep. And eventually, the people with technology who are merging with machines and everything, they're either going to leave the planet or they're going to destroy themselves. And then those people that go deep into those forests and jungles, they end up being the uncontacted tribes of today that we have.
I don't really spend time thinking about that.
That's just what I think. I'm like, these uncontacted tribes came about somehow, and maybe that's just what happens. Maybe technology takes it too far, and there's always people who want to farm and want to get away, and then the smoke clears, and then they're all that's left.
I don't really theorize about things like that, to be honest. And I also don't even know if it's possible to leave Earth. You know, that's another thing.
Yeah, that is another thing, honestly. I was just listening to a Joe Rogan episode about that, and they were talking about all sorts of things around that. The Van, I forget what it's called, the some belt.
Van Allen?
Yeah, there you go, the Van Allen belt, and how to get through it. And yeah, it really does make you, it makes me think, like, is it all possible, and what's real and what's not?
I'm talking about there might not be anything existing outside of Earth physically.
You think so?
I don't know. I don't think I say that I don't know. I
Yeah.
have no idea. How would I know? Because of evidence? You know, I'm like, have I been there? Is it possible to know?
Yeah, I'm definitely in that camp as well, because a lot of people who say they know, they like the proof, and it's assumptions, and it's just belief in what somebody is telling you. So you don't actually know for yourself, you know? It's very odd. But yeah, that's something to think about too. Maybe there's just nothing out there. I don't know. I hope there is. I really do. I hope there's planets and fun stuff.
And there's more continents beyond the ice wall, and that's where the elite live. And
man, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I've talked about this.
I don't know. I'm just.
Who knows? That's the thing. Who knows? I don't know. I've never. I've only been to.
Why is it illegal? You know, like the treaty where you're not allowed to go to the North Pole beyond a certain point and all that.
Bro,
you know about that?
I was just talking to people about that. They were arguing with me in my comment section about that.
It's illegal to go to the North Pole. I'm like, okay, why?
Yeah. I was just talking about that, and all these people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're allowed to go wherever you want in Antarctica. You're allowed to just travel it. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're not allowed to just go wherever you want. When it comes to Antarctica, they will stop you at certain places. They will tell you certain places are restricted.
There's certain parts of the world that, as a human being, you're not allowed to go to. It's like they own the world or something.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous. Right? Also, I don't know if you know this, Grand Canyon, you're not allowed to go wherever you want in the Grand Canyon.
Why is that?
Same reason for Antarctica. No one knows. They just go, oh, it's not safe. You can't go. You're not allowed.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do go, people have talked about black helicopters appearing, and they will remove you. They will know that you're there, and they will remove you right away because they don't want you to see in these restricted areas at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I just find that really weird, and I'd love to know what was there. And I feel like it's not just nothingness or just like rough terrain. I think it's something much more, much more. So we'll see. We'll find out one day when all this technology collapses. And then you can just wander over, you know?
Probably not in our lifetime.
True. All right, so what do you have going on for the rest of the day right now? Like, what are you up to? I just work on my book
all day, every day.
Really?
Right now, yeah. I'm finishing my book and then Augenus's story and everything.
How long is this book going to be, and are you going to do a audio version of it?
I'm going to turn it into a YouTube series. Right now, I'm just really focusing on refining my life story. Mm-hmm. And the vision for the community and everything, and it's probably gonna be like 45 pages, just my story. Okay. And the whole book is like 100. I don't remember, like 200 pages, 250, something like that.
Okay. Your story alone?
It's a primal guide.
Your story alone will just be 45 pages. I would imagine it'd be more.
I'm trying to make it. No, yeah, it's gonna be about 45. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want any filler information. Just straight to the point. Everything that's important. And
True. Okay, that makes sense. Make it a proper read and not just droning on and on. Okay. That's cool. All right. Well, man, this is a very odd conversation that I didn't think would get to happen. I'm like, I don't even know if this guy's going to answer me, but I'm like, I got to message this guy and see what's going on with this guy. But yeah, man, thank you for talking to me for so long. I don't want to take you away from the book and everything, but like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Man, so right now, okay, so here's the thing. This is what we'll sign off with, but what is your next meal going to be in terms of like raw food?
I'm just drinking milk and eating cheese for a few hours, and I have some more beef pate and the dilled tomato sauce.
Dill tomato sauce. You know what we should do before I go? Because it's like, there's no videos of you eating the stuff anymore. Where's all the videos?
No, you have to click on the Reels page.
Oh.
Just go on my story, and you can see the meal I'm going to have later.
Hold on. Let me just show the people here, because the people might not actually believe me. But this is real.
You should probably put me eating. Find the videos with the most views and make that the intro. Like, go to the videos that have like 1 million views and play that in the beginning of your video to get the most.
Is there ones that have 1 million?
Yeah, I've had like several viral.
Let me see. What about this one? This is raw pork, parasites. Oh, this one. This is high meat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see some high meat action here. Wow.
That was a huge mouthful. It's way too much to swallow.
It looks like it.
Oh. 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 Ah. Oh.
It was so big it wouldn't go down my throat, and it hurt.
For sure.
To swallow.
For sure. Wow, man. So as you're like choking through that, what is that? Is that just the smell? Is it just the mouthful?
It's like it burns your mouth. It's really strong. It's like it's
it
really
burns
intense.
your mouth. It burns your mouth?
Yeah. It's
Really?
like liquor.
It's like liquor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. This is something else. Like I had 2 friends who were like, stop sending me this stuff. It's like,
That's
stop
funny.
it. I don't want to see this anymore. I love watching it though. I'm like, this can't be real. But it's real. You're
I'm
really
excited to
doing
have
it.
more. I'm so disappointed that I didn't get to eat any for so long. I would be at like 50, 60, 70K followers if I was still eating every day. But it went bad and I couldn't make more.
Oh, because it takes a while for it to like.
It takes
for
a
you to
long time.
actually
My
do it.
car kept getting too hot and stuff.
So you need like you can't have a fridge. So yeah, that becomes hard, especially summertime rolling around.
Yeah. Like being in Miami. I was in Miami.
Yeah. That's hard, man. That's really hard. Yeah, I saw you giving this guy some. This is wild stuff, man. So, man, I don't know what else to say other than, good luck on your journey. And I hope you don't get sick, man. Honestly, I mean, I know you're saying like you never do or anything, but
Well, I get sick like 2 or 3 times a year, but that's part of the process. It's normal.
Yeah, well, I just
also
hope you
got
stay
sick
in.
2 or 3 times a year before I started the diet, so it's the same.
True. Well, I hope you stay in good health all around and nothing else forms. And we'll have to do this again as the book comes out or as the community forms. We'll have to do this again and have some more conversations about it.
You got to try the raw ice cream.
I'll have to see a recipe or something. I don't know. We'll see.
It's very easy.
Man, like a year from now, I end up being one of your students, and I'm just going at it.
If you only added it would change your life, like, especially your kid.
Wow. Oh man, such a hard thing to comprehend, man. But we'll have to talk. We'll have to talk about all this stuff again sometime. I hope you're open to it. But thank you, man. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you. See ya.
All right, man. Oh, hold on. Yo. Don't, I'm going to stop recording later, guys. I'm going to stop recording.